What's going on, everybody? Going ahead and shooting a review for the Seige Springer mold. I'm doing this on the same day that I'm shooting the cup review because I can only shoot on weekends, and I didn't explain it in the cup review, but yesterday, which was Saturday, I ended up going and being busy for a few hours getting a tattoo done, so I did not have time to film. And here we are filming 2 reviews in one day. Oh, the joy. But here we have Springer in his vehicle mode. As you can see, I've got all his weapons kind of stored in this back rack, and I'll explain how I put it together if you like the look of that. It's just how I store it so everything looks nice and cohesive, and I don't lose any of it. I can't remember if my brother and I go crazy trying to find fun ways to store stuff, and I can't remember if we came to this conclusion separately but at the same time, or if I came up with this and he has his own thing. It's been so long, but this is the way I do it regardless of who figured it out. I know I put it together on my own, but I couldn't remember if he also did it this way or if he had a different way. Take a look at the details here. You've got clear blue plastic for that cockpit area. You've got the Seige scratch and scuff. You've got it here on this yellow. You've got it here on the hood. You've got it here on the roof. And then it's going to be here in the back under here. If you can see that coming through on this blue plastic. It's on the same area as my thumb, but it's after this helicopter blade placement, so I can't really point at it. There we go. And then you've got a little bit back here, and then you've got some silver paint for details on what I believe are his knees. I'm gonna go ahead and say this ahead of time. My knees are pretty well shot. His ankles are doing fine, and I don't even think I had to adjust those, but his knees and some panels in his arms need to be tightened up, and I just haven't done it. It's been a long time since I got this figure. I got it pretty much right when it came out, so looks like blue plastic and black paint for the wheels. Yep, there's some chipping there if you can see that. Blue's coming through a little bit. I play with my Transformers. They're gonna have some paint defects if I don't review them right out of the box. Even Prime Junior's got plenty of scuffs on them now. Going down the side, you don't really have a lot of paint besides the yellow here on the front of the screen. That is really well done. Yellow can be a hard color to mess up, especially if you don't put enough coats on it, but this is painted and this is painted, so it's the same yellow paint, and then this just has the scratch and scuff on it, so no yellow mismatch because it's all yellow paint. Pretty cool. Even this yellow is painted on back here. These are painted. These parts of the legs are painted this green color, but other than that, you've just got different plastics. You've got the blue on the wheels, and you've got the green and the lighter green and more blue down here, and there he is from the bottom. You've got him on the bottom, just got some paint for the robot waist. You can see his hands there, all the leg stuff under there. We'll go ahead and remove this real quick so we can see what he looks like with no weapons on at all. Get a look at this detail I was trying to point out earlier with all the silver. There he is from the back of the vehicle. Just needs some red here for the tail lights, and you'd pretty much be good to go. These gaps don't bother me at all due to transformation and size. Here he is from the dead front. And I can't forget to mention the Autobot symbol in the middle of the hood. And then you've got a little bit of blue peeking through from the way his legs work, which is actually pretty cool. Excuse me. And that's pretty much him. So he comes with a couple of different accessories. And we'll go ahead and remove them, look at them individually, and put it back together. He comes with this accessory, which is not a weapon. It's just how the helicopter blades combine in helicopter mode, and that'll obviously plug in here. When the time comes, we'll put that down. He comes with 2 identical swords, just molded in the blue plastic, with a couple of those things where you can put the swooshy effects on it, which I do not have any, sadly, even though I did get some blast effects. And then you've got these holes here, which are going to allow you to tab it to this if you want to, for how I do it, and it'll also let you tab them into these tabs on the side of the car. Most people are probably going to tab it in there and have them face forward or back, and that's how they're going to store that. But they fall off and they hold much more securely to this thing. So he comes with 2 of those. He comes with 2 guns, but they are different molded components. This one is kind of plain and doesn't look much like a standalone gun. It looks like it belongs to something else, but it does have a handle. It looks like a barrel with a handle almost, and it is got the point where you can do blast effect compatible stuff. I didn't grab my blast effects, and I'm not going to at this point. So there he is. You've got lots of pretty nice detail on the top, pretty hollow from the bottom. And then this gun I actually really like, and I like it so much that I threw it away from me. It looks more cohesive as a single weapon. It's got lots of details, and it also has tabs on it, oddly enough, so you can take his swords and plug them right to this gun if you wanted to, and have something like that going on, which I don't care for, and it looks kind of ridiculous. But either way, in order to form the monstrosity that I had at the beginning, you can plug this gun into the back of the other weapon, because it's got a slot, and this one on the back has a peg, so you could put them together like this if you really wanted to. I'm not sure why you would, but you put them together, and then we're going to go ahead and put this helicopter bit into the peg on the gun I'd like least. And we're going to try and line it up so that it's making a kind of a cross there. We want them to be perpendicular with each other, and you want to try and push this in as far as possible. It actually pops this out a bit, which is what we want. And then you're going to take the swords, effect side up, and plug them into the gray helicopter piece. And then we'll take this handle on the gun I do like, and we'll plug it into the roof port here in the middle. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then this is just going to rest back here, and there you have it how it was in the beginning. We'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons. Alright, there you've got him with the Rubik's Cube, Dora Magala statue, Volkswagen Bumblebee, there he is with Autobot Blaster, and I have a slight addendum to him. My friend got curious about how the instructions actually tell you to store this, and so I missed it, but I like the way I found anyway. There is actually a slot in the one side of the gun handle that'll go over this tab on the back, so the official way to store it as far as the instructions are concerned is down here, and it does keep it out of the way from the front. It's pretty much nice and flat from the back, and you know, so if you want that look, go for it. But I actually really like using it as a radio antenna, so that's how I'm gonna store it. But there, little update on Blaster since we had him in the studio. Next Voyager review, bar me getting another new figure again, is going to be Studio Series Scourge. This is the Scourge mold, not a sweep. I didn't bother getting the sweeps because they're the same mold, and I really don't like double dipping on molds that much. It's really got to be heavily remolded to be a different character for me to care. Like Studio Series Dropkick Helicopter to Helicopter Drift. I have both of those, and they're fine, even though they share some components. They look pretty much completely different, especially in helicopter mode. So something like that I'll do, but a sweep, yeah, they've got reversed hands in slightly different colors. Not gonna get that. But there you have him with Scourge. Last but not least, there you have him with Prime Jr. Alrighty, and that's about it for the car mode. So we'll go ahead and get into helicopter mode, and to do that we're just going to take our weapon pile and put it off down below to the side, wherever you want to call it, and we're going to go ahead and transform him. So we're going to untab this panel. You've got a series of tabs in here. You've got these rectangular edge tabs and these triangular edge tabs, if that makes any sense. And the rectangle ones were going into these slots, and the triangle ones were resting in the outwardmost slot in that knee detail. Trying not to focus on the roof. If you can tell what I'm talking about, it's right in front of my thumb. That's where it was resting. We're going to go ahead and just pull it forward about the A-far, because we want that kind of at a right angle to allow the feet to go through. Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and bend down at this the hip joints there, and get that out of the way, and then we're just going to flatten that to keep it out of our way for now. Go ahead and unplug the legs, and let's see, I just transformed them not too long ago. For the helicopter, do we want to extend the legs? I want to say that we don't need to for the helicopter. Nope, I'm wrong. We need to extend the legs, so we're going to fold them on this panel here. And then what you're going to want to do is rotate at this thigh swivel, and then not pull apart the front of the vehicle. The front of the vehicle needs to stay together. We need to pull his hip down. So this is an after picture, and this is a before picture of the hip placement. So we'll go ahead and do that on this one, where we rotate that, rotate at thigh. We'll go ahead and pull the hip. It's tabbed in pretty good. Not gonna have to worry about that. We'll put that back up there so it's out of our way. And this is the knee connection, and this is the knee joint, and this does not hold very well. I need to tighten that up. We'll go ahead and pop this panel off. There's a tab here that's hooking into this hole here. We're gonna pop it off to the side, and that's not gonna hold very well. And we're going to take these panels in the middle, and they kind of tab in. There is a tab here, and there is a hole there. There's so much to this guy that it keeps trying to focus on the wrong thing. So they're going to plug into that notch there. We're going to rotate them out, and then that's going to allow us to start tabbing all this together. So you've got a tab. Stop it. You've got a couple of tabs here that are going to interlock, and you've got a tab and a slot in the middle that's going to lock together. You've even got a post and a port on the tail fin that's all going to lock together. Hey, cooperate, please. Okay, so we've got all that tabbed together. We're going to take the foot and rotate it around on this hinge here. So it's this, we're not rotating it up and down, we're rotating it around. And then we're going to leave these alone for the time being, and we're going to focus on his arms. We're going to pull them out. You want to make sure this green panel stays down, because it is going to want to flop up on you. We are going to disconnect the fist from this panel here and rotate this forward. That will allow us to fold this fin out. Use the sliding rail to pull that loose, and then fold this back down and reconnect it to the fist. Then we're going to rotate this dark green panel around on that sliding rail, and it's going to come over and rest on this tab here, like that. And then one of these, and the sliding rail it's attached to is one of the other loose things on him. We'll go ahead and do that on this side, and we might see that in action here. So we'll rotate that forward. We'll get this out. It'll show a lot better in robot mode. Pull that out, reconnect, rotate. Yeah, so it's not this so much as it's something. His arm doesn't like to stay together. We'll see it, unless it decided to magically tighten up on me and make me a liar. That sometimes happens. Fold these panels in the rest of the way. Underneath this panel, and again, getting it kind of at that right angle will help. And then we're going to fold this back down, and you've got these tabs here. The triangle tabs will go into, and these slots here, the rectangle tabs will go into. So line all that up, get all that tabbed into place nice and solid. And then this part is kind of annoying. You've got to pull this structure out and set it in here, and you've got a big old slot in the arm here that's going to go over this tab, and you've got to get this hooked up in there so that the frontal tab into place all together like that. So you've just got to kind of fiddle it into place, and you got to make sure that the front lines up, and everything stays plugged together. That actually wasn't too painful. We'll rotate it down and show it from the top. So you've got to get this so that it's all going to sit flat, and then you've got to try and plug the tab in. And I can never figure out what's easier, getting the back tabbed in and then trying to moosh the front into place, or vice versa. But either way, we got them. Oh, nope, we didn't get them. Okay, we've got them both squeezed into place now. Everything's where it should be. So we'll set him down, and we'll grab this and just remove the gun pack real quick. Go ahead and take the handles of the swords and plug them in like so. And you can, it's whichever way you're going to have it rotating is which way you're going to have the blast effects facing. But you would want to have them facing opposite directions, or else they're going to be like spinning towards each other. We'll go ahead and take this and put it in the middle. My thumb hit that, but let's try that again. So we've got the spinny blades. And then for the guns, this gun just, oh, that fell down. This gun is going to plug in here. And they're kind of angled forward if you have this rotated all the way down, so you can't angle it up if you want it to look straighter. And then score 2 for this gun. The tabs on the side actually line up with notches in the wings, which the other gun does not have. So you can plug this in, and the wing will form around it, so you know you've got it straight. And then, like I said, those are kind of angled down, so you can angle them up. And there he is in his helicopter mode. As I failed to mention, in the vehicle mode he will roll because the wheels are still all down, they're just kind of moved around. And as I showed previously, you've got the spinny rotatey blades, they're nice and loose for swirling around. As far as details go, all the paint is exactly the same, just chunks of vehicle have moved around. And so these were on the these were on the back of the car, and these panels have completely flipped around because that detail is now underneath these kind of thrusters in the back. And then the feet are buried in here now. No real trace of them that you can see. And the tires are kind of covered up and things like that. So there you've got him in his vehicle mode. And we'll go ahead and get into vehicle size comparisons part 2. There you've got him with the Rubik's Cube, the Gore statue, Volkswagen Bumblebee, an oversized boombox, Scourge, and Prime Jr. Now on to the final transformation for Springer. We'll go ahead and remove all his weapons again, and we'll attach them to the robot mode when we get to the robot mode. And we're basically gonna unplug the arms and put them back up where they were for now, to get him out of the way. And we can go ahead and actually put these fins back in while we're at it. Gotta rotate them first. I always want to just immediately pull the arms open, and I continuously forget that the fins lock around that. So we'll go ahead and put that into place, and we'll leave them locked up for now just so there's less stuff to flop around. So rotate this around first, and then unplug. And my zoom is going everywhere. Snap that in, fold that around. See, this one is the one that's loose, but it's loose close to the arm. So when you have it flipped out, it's not so bad, but it's loose here. And the other one might be loose close to the arm too. I cannot remember. All right, and we've got those kind of semi-locked into the front and transformed out of our way. Go ahead and lift the backpack up and fold the feeties out. And we can just clip them into the sides for now. The backpack can stay up because it's not coming down again. We'll go ahead and separate the tail apart. There. And the knee's bent already. We can fold these fins in finally for leg mode and rotate these back up where they were in car mode and snap everything together. And then we can rotate the feet back and rotate them into place to finish off his legs. And those knee connections are going to plague me the whole video, just so you know. We'll go ahead and snap his hips back up into place and rotate at the thighs back into car mode configuration. And then we get to work on the torso, which is kind of a weird mess. We'll go ahead and unplug the arms now that the legs are done and just rotate them all the way down out of our way. And then this whole assembly here is on this blue hinge in here, which is, it thoops in various places, so we can pull it up to get it snaps in. I'm not sure what's actually tabbing it in though, but it does kind of snap into place. So we're going to pull it up, and then we're going to start pulling this blue hinge forward, and it's going to snap down like that. And then we can take the chest and fold it down enough that we can rotate this panel out and continue folding it down. You don't have to turn his head around for vehicle mode, but then his face doesn't show in the bottom, so turn his head around if you have done so. Fold these panels up, snap the chest over them, and leave it like this for now. Because what we want to do is there are these tabs here that are going to line up with these L-shaped notches in the arm panels, and we want to try and get those kind of tabbed in before we fold the chest down. And it all gets in the way of each other, so I'm really worried about getting it on film. That kind of did what I wanted. You can see that they're plugged in and the chest is still up, and then once that's done, we can plug the chest down in and hope that we haven't unplugged anything else and that it's all still merrily bonded together. Fold the arms down, that's causing some issues. There we go. And so it's all straight. The chest is fully pushed in, the back is locked into those tabs. This was loose when I got it. I put a little bit of glue there and thickened that up, so now it stays pretty good. It's not a solid connection, but it stays pretty good. And then we're gonna fold these forward like we did to fold this out, but we're gonna take this panel and fold it in, and take that and fold it down to complete the shoulder, and then we do nothing else with the arms. Again, on this side, we'll go ahead and fold that all in, and we've got his arm complete. And my wrists keep bumping my little tripod here. And there you have Springer in his robot mode. His knees are the bane of my existence, but there he is. We'll take a look at him and take a look at his posability. Then we'll take a look at the way I store his weapons. He's always got something on his face, but it's not actually like paint blemishes. He just has, his face likes dirt. Every time I see him, he's got more dirt on his face, and I gotta try and wipe it off. It's moving around, it just won't, it's like static clung to it. Either way, his face sculpt is painted in, the eyes are painted in. You've got yellow paint down inside those green parts, which are, the green is also painted. Here, let me zoom in so I'm not holding it so close to the camera and it can focus properly. There we go. So there's his face. You can see that dirt that was moving around. I gotta get that off of there. I don't know what it is. There's his chest with the battle damage. Now it's kind of lined up with the shoulder battle damage, so it looks more in line with each other, I suppose. And coming down the front, you've got that yellow paint here that matched up with this yellow painted detail, and this green is painted on, which is matched really nicely with this green plastic, especially since they're not right next to each other. They're an accent color, and when they're not touching, it makes it harder to tell that there's a difference. The thighs again are painted over green plastic. You can see it coming through. There goes his knee connection. This does not hold in there very well at all, and I just don't know how I'm going to go about tightening that up, which is why I haven't done it yet. You've got the battle damage going down his jeans. Got that custom faded denim coming up the back. The back of his legs are pretty messy looking just because of how much transforming they do, but they're not really hollow anywhere except down here, so it's actually pretty good to me. You got the big old backpack with the scuff and scrapes, and it's like hiccup. Like I said, it does, Jesus, more hiccups. It does not stay well, and it doesn't plug in, so it'll if it even wiggles, it'll start unplugging itself. These panels don't want to stay in. I gotta tighten them up. But other than that, his arms look really good from the back because the wings fill in the arms, and these fold in to fill in any gaps that would be under there. So it all looks very well and good. Posability, you can look up a bit, you can look down a bit, you can tilt a bit, you can rotate all the way. Shoulders, full 360, would be achievable, but they start running into stuff, but it'll go up pretty far forward. Never mind this wing, stay. And they can go back almost 90 degrees, and then they can rotate out a little under 90 degrees. He's got these big old shoulder pads, so we'll forgive him. He's bulky. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got over 90 degrees of bend at that elbow, and he's got wrist swivels even. So there you've got some wrist swivels, some swivelly wrists. Get those arms out of the way. He's got a waist swivel. The back does get in the way of that, so you'll get about this far before it stops, which is as much as I really need for him. You've got the thigh swivel for the transformation. Universals bend all the way back, all the way forward, all the way out. You've got the proper knee bend that gets you over 90 degrees, and then you've got the knee connection that won't stay on mine that you could technically use if you wanted to get it like that, but that looks really, really bad, so we're not going to do that. Then you've got the foot will swivel this way, and it will swivel forward and a little bit down from the resting position, which is about here. And there you've got Springer's posability. And we'll go ahead and zoom back out and then take a look at what we're going to do with his accessories. Alrighty, so here's what's left of his accessory pile. And what I like to do with this is I'll plug the swords in like I had them in the car mode. So we're going to have them plugged on to the sides with the little attachments for the battle effects facing up, and the attachment for the rotor and the vehicle mode facing down. We'll do that with both of them. And then I'll take this whole assembly, and forgive me if it takes me a try or two. I think it's this way. I'll have the attachment facing in, and I'll literally just plop this down on his shoulder. It might be the other way. Let me try it facing out. No, it's definitely this way. So I'll plop this down on his shoulder. These loose panels make him so fiddly. He wasn't this fiddly when I got him, guys. So if you get a new one, it's not going to be like this right out of the box. And so I store his swords like that. And then if you want to use one, you literally just I'll pop the front one off and then spin this so that way it's not hindering the arm posability, really. And then you just plug it into his hand. As for his guns, I'll take this one and I'll plug it in the middle and have it kind of be like an antenna for his backpack, because I don't like to use it as a gun. And then if I have this one plugged in, I plug it in facing down in this port on this side, because this is like the gun side and that's like the sword side. And so that's how I'll have it plugged in, but I usually have him hold this gun in this hand while he's got the sword in the other hand. Cooperate, please. And there you've got his guns together with his swords. And so that's just how I store his weapons on him. So he's got like the little shoulder mounted sword holder and the gun and the antenna on his back. That's also a gun if you want to use it. And there he is in robot mode, and we'll get ready for some size comparisons in this mode. I might angle up, we'll see what happens. Alrighty, starting off as always, there you've got him with the Rubik's Cube, our Gore statue, Volkswagen Bumblebee, Kingdom Blaster, Studio Series Scourge, MP44. Last but not least, there he is with Prime Jr. Okay, and that pretty much does it for my review of Seige Springer. I don't like some of the issues it developed over time, but I can't fault the figure for that. It might just be my copy, and it's things that I can probably fix. Other than that backpack, there isn't really a lot that upsets me. I wish that his sword helicopter blades were more like the Thrilling 30s IDW style release. And I'm mentioning that now because I didn't care about it enough to mention it before, because I found a way to store the weapons that I kind of like. So in the end, it worked out. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty much a fan of this figure. If yours has similar or different issues, or no issues at all, go ahead and comment below. Let me know if they were issues you had right away. Let me know if they developed over time. Go ahead and like my review if you would be so inclined, and subscribe to my channel and view my playlist linked in the description below for more content. Go ahead and ring the bell if you are subscribed so you know when a new video has been posted. Go ahead and check out my social media links so you can see in advance when a video is going to be posted. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. I want to say we're going to be taking a look at Studio Series Blur. Have a